What's going on, my From fans and my Fromily? I'm One Eye Bright, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about From Season 2. Well, Season 2, Episode 6 and 7, and really all of Season 2. Spoiler warning for all things From. But ultimately, we saw a bride monster creature in Season 2, Episode 6, and I believe it's the first time. I could be mistaken. Please let me know in the comments. But is it foreshadowing for the wedding between Ellis and Fatima? We'll have to break it down. But ultimately, the big thing was about Smiley. And I know a lot of people, there's been some comments about it like, oh, you're talking about Ellis and Fatima. What about Smiley? I have a whole video talking about it. I guess that person missed that. And yes, the big deal was that Boyd hopefully killed Smiley. But when Ellis got the vehicle, there were a bunch of different creatures. And I don't know how many creatures or monsters or whatever you're calling them. How many are there? And we see some repeats. We see, I guess, this couple. And we see, people similar, I'd probably same actresses and actors wearing the same clothes that they've been wearing from previous episodes, Season 1, Season 2. But we saw this guy, and then we saw this woman. So we saw a bride. And it's interesting because the time we see a bride, Fatima and Ellis are supposed to be getting married. And they highlighted the bride a little bit. It happens very quickly, but is it foreshadowing for something that's going to happen at the wedding? And then also the cheerleader and this other person come out, and then we have like the cowboy guy, the Maytag repairman, the milkman, all the waitress. But I can't help but talk about Fatima and Ellis and the time we saw them getting into the vehicle, we saw the bride. So does it mean something going forward? I'm not sure, but it makes sense if it's foreshadowing because shows like this love to do that. But Smiley is hopefully gone, and I've seen some people like, I hope he comes back. I hope he becomes a person or a human or he doesn't die. Man, no, we want these monsters and creatures to die because if they don't, what is hopeful for these characters? What is hopeful for Boyd and the survivors, right? So Boyd gets surrounded by a bunch of different creatures that we saw before, Smiley being the main one, and it's a pretty big thing, this showdown here, right? And we finally got some sort of big epic moment in the series, Season 2, Episode 6, but Episode 7 hopefully continues this, and hopefully they do something with Smiley, but it's a good showdown. What'd you think of this? Is it a huge moment for the series? Is it going to be the turning point for answers? Because I don't think it's going to work out well that Boyd killed Smiley. Again, he may survive, which would be terrible, and I guess there's nothing written down that he's actually dead yet. We'll have to see in Season 2, Episode 7, but I think that the fact that Boyd was able to kill one, let alone a main guy here, I don't know if that's going to bode well for Boyd, because the powers that be, the people controlling these monsters, are more powerful, according to Martin. You think this is bad? This is just the tip of the spear. It's not the whole thing. It's just part of it. What's going to happen next? And I thought it was weird that, Smiley didn't bleed at all. We didn't see any blood coming out of his neck. And he actually tries to walk towards them after the worms were put into his body. And then they react, and then he goes down. But I've seen a bunch of different theories. Like, the amount of theories for this show is crazy because there has to be right now. We don't have answers, but we hear about aliens and multiverse and time jumps and, just time travel, and they're in a coma, they're dead, they're this, they're that. I mean, everything under the sun. Some of them are pretty funny. But ultimately, Boyd is able to kill Smiley. It's a huge epic moment. But is that going to spell bad news for the wedding to come up? And it's Boyd, Ellis's father, so it could be something that is building up. And I think that our group is going to get somewhere. And then the powers that be, whoever controls this place, is going to do something terrible. To be like, all right, that's enough. Let's bring everyone back down a level or two. Let's knock them back down a peg, And I think they're going to flood the area. I think there's going to be a big flood or something like that too, as a lot of people are guessing, and I'm down with that theory. And there's a lot of good theories, but Smiley goes down. The worms, I guess, make him transform into this, and then he dies. I have another video coming out pretty soon that I'm wondering about. Are the worms the same worms that are in Boyd or are in Sarah? And how did Sarah get that? Did she see Martin too? I'm not sure. But again, Smiley goes down, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 people, the creatures, go around and look at Smiley, and they're kind of shocked. They don't even care that Boyd's there. They let him leave, which is interesting that Boyd is there to be ripped apart, and they don't do that. So it's something that I haven't seen on the show, so it's a big change. Can't wait to see where it goes in season 2, episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then into season 3. So season 3 is a go. I believe the word is they're going to start filming in July and go to December for filming, and Nova Scotia is where this is filmed. But the fact that we see a creature or monster bride, and we're going to have a wedding, doesn't bode well for Fatima and Ellis, right? Is it by circumstance, by chance? I don't think so, because the fact that we're going to have a wedding, are we actually going to have a wedding? You know, is something going to happen at the wedding? Because I'm guessing we're going to have another big death or two, because, you know, we're getting there and we have 4 episodes left as I make this video here. Something big's got to happen. But is it foreshadowing that something is going to happen to Fatima or Ellis or someone else at the wedding? I can't wait to find out, but I thought it was interesting, and I know there's been a lot of talk about Smiley and the creatures and Boyd and this and that, but seeing a monster/creature bride and a wedding coming up, that's gotta mean something. In this world of From, everything means something, right? Let me know your thoughts, post your comments below, stay safe, and as always, tell them Daryl.
Yo, we love you.